got the Sub-Penthouse, lost it, made it back. That's the story of today, my friends. Right behind me, I want to show you a very up I had, then I want to show you a very down. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm S1H, and I am building and going on the most human transformation journey, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. At the same time, I'm working to build one of the most human companies and take you guys along the ride, and hopefully you can get some you can have some fun along the way with me, and you can maybe hopefully be able to change your life or make your life a little better in some way. And just as more importantly, we change the world, we create unity, we create peace, and we create love, right? That's my end goal, global human unity, my friends. Now, all right, let's get into it. See this place here? Oh man, I don't even know if I should share this with you. All right, look at this. Let me show you. All right, let me show, oh, another rainy day. It's not raining in Vancouver. It never rains here in the wintertime. All right, see that? All right, so all the way up there. Now, let me share this with you. This was another place that I used to come down, and I had been to a party up in this place one time. And I was like, man, they're so nice, right? This was newly built at the time. And I was like, man, it was so nice. I want to get there. I want to get to that place. I want to be able to live there. So I worked hard and I finally got here. And I had a business partner. I was in business with them. And we were like, okay, let's split the Sub-Penthouse here. So we went in together. We decided to split the Sub-Penthouse here. And it was like, I finally made my dream here. I was like, okay, I've done it. You know, even though I had somebody sharing it with me, it was still like, you know, super good, right? Like we kind of made it. It was big, you know what I mean? So you didn't really like, and we both like, he'd done different stuff, right? And was traveled a lot, so we didn't really see each other that much, to tell you the truth. Now, so I finally get in here, thinking I've made it. Then guess what happens to me? Something crazy happens. So I get on a plane, I go back to Saskatchewan to the family cabin. Get to the family cabin, and then I go to my cabin, I get on the boat, we start boating. I decide to wakeboard that day. And I start wakeboarding, I wipe out, turn over, and my femur bone's pretty much sticking out my leg. I gotta push it back in. Yeah, I snapped my femur bone. If you don't know, second biggest bone in the body is your femur bone, right? Right here, right there. And I rolled over in the water. I was looking up water. I was screaming, and it's a little rain out here. I was screaming, laying in the water, and trying to push my leg back in pain. The boat was way over there. They could hear me screaming. My uncle turned to my aunt and said, yeah, it's just not a sprained ankle or, you know, a tiny break. It's major, because they could hear the scream. And that day, they had to lift me inside the boat with my leg, not from going like this, swaying back and forth, back and forth. So to try and get me in the boat was hard. And luckily, people on the boat, my family, you know, were very experienced with, you know, my uncle's a police officer, was a police officer, and that kind of stuff. And so they were very experienced in that. But to get me up into the boat without me getting really hurt was hard. And then I was starting to shiver in the water. So they had to get me out because I was starting to freeze, even though it was super hot that day. And so they got me in the boat, got me back to shore. We were an hour away, so I had no painkillers, nothing. Worse pain, and by the way, they all had to keep putting their hands on my femur break to hold it together, so it didn't, you know, the bone didn't push out the leg. And so they tried to take the pain away, but they couldn't squeeze it hard enough, so they had to keep taking turns. And as soon as somebody would let off their hands, I would just scream. Get me back to shore. My grandpa comes down, and at that point, when my grandpa comes down, they think he has a heart attack. He passes right out, my grandpa, Ambulances come for both of us. I'm having my femur break. My grandpa's passed out. They think he has a heart attack. And at that point, they'd get us to a hospital at that time. I get to that hospital. They take me, drive me another 4 hours to another hospital. My grandpa ends up being all right. But it was just a chaotic day. And so when I look at that day, I thought I had the whole world by the hands here. Finally made my dream here, right here, was doing really well, and I was big in the fitness business then. Had a personal training business, had the gym business, had personal trainers under me, and we've been training to do infomercials. Yes, back in the day, infomercials were super hot. Gonna do the career. My whole career was fitness, and that snap changed my entire business, changed my entire fitness, changed everything that I had been working for. Every money that I had coming in, pretty much, like so much changed when I broke my femur bone. My whole career went away pretty much in a matter of seconds. And now I had this place here that was expensive. And I was like, man, I finally get here and things are going good, and then it's all taken away in an instant from one snap of the leg. And I basically had to, couldn't even come back here for another 3 months. I couldn't even come back to this place because I couldn't get on a plane. It was a very bad femur break, and I went from barely being able to walk, and then crutches, and then I went to a cane. It was funny because when I broke my femur bone, I thought I was going to be able to heal it in a matter of minutes, or not minutes, but weeks or maybe months. Well, I realized how bad of a break it was when my physio came into the doctor's room, and she said, all right, we're going to start your physio into the hospital room. And my first physio was just to move my leg that much. So I came back, so I didn't even get back to this place. And then when I got back to this place, I wasn't going to have near as much, like I was training clients too, like I wasn't going to have near as much money coming in, and I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? Like, it was a really, really, really hard time. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about your ups and downs and obstacles, and being resilient and keep pushing through, and understanding it's going to happen to all of you, and you are going to have these massive obstacles, and you're going to have these massive challenges. You're going to have these massive setbacks, and sometimes when you think things are going so good, all of a sudden, boom, it just hits you. And then all of a sudden when things are not going good, all of a sudden, boom, it hits you and things start to go good. That's where I really started to get my mind right. Like, that's where the whole mindset training for me really started, was there. Like, if you look at all my life and my stuff, it's all mind. It's all mind. And that's where it really started hardcore, was like right here. And because I knew I had to get it. Now, so I had to make a decision right there. Like, I remember here, I was like standing right here. And I was like, I remember standing like right in this place one day. I was like, on my crutches, and I was like, my life's not good. How am I going to do it? So I thought to myself, standing right in this place where you look right now, I thought to myself, okay, if I don't have enough money to live here, and if times are like really tough now because of my injury, I knew I had one thing. I had been just had come out of pretty much the gym business, and I understood business very well. And so I was like, I bet you I could teach people business. So I quickly put together a mastermind group, and I brought them all to this place right here. This place where you can't, right here. I brought them all here, and I got, I think, about 20 or 15 or in or something like that. And that kind of saved me. And so the moral of the story is, all the viewers watching tonight and everyone that watches the replays, just remember that you can pivot. And when things get hard, you can look for a different direction, and don't give up, right? Because I could have just gave up in that time, because it was a hard time in my life, right? Like, it was a hard time. It was just super high for me. Like, man, I was like really making it now, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was like almost like down to the bottom again. And I was like, man, I just worked so hard, and I finally get here, and then boom, it's all gone, right? So That's why I have compassion for people, and that's why I believe in people so much too, because there's been so many things in my life that have been up and then down and up and then down, and at times where I'm like, oh man, you know, am I going to make it through this? And then other times where I'm like, oh, things are going good, and it's just been so much, right? And so when you feel you're down and out, right? Get around different environments, get around different people, because if you look at my story right there, I could have just gave up right here in this exact place and just stopped. And then let me finish the story. Remember I told you about my friend? That guy that was supposed to be my friend also ditched me out of money at the same time. Get that. Think about you're up that high, and then supposedly the guy that's your friend ditches you the money that he owes you, right? To pay his portion. Got worse, didn't it, my friends? Right? Yeah. And then the same guy contacted me later. He's like, hey, I would like to talk about, you know, what we went through. But he didn't even call me and offer me the money, you know, like he owed me or whatever, which is fine. I'm okay with that, because, you know, when I look at times, like, I know everyone's gone up and down in business, and sometimes you go up, and there's nobody that I know that hasn't built many businesses that have ended up probably losing it all close, or losing it all, or struggling at times. Like, it's the story with pretty much everybody. So this was my story here, my friends. And, you know, just go back and look at my story and think about, okay, you know, some days I've just got to look at and set that goal again and go after it. And the whole moral of this story is pivot. Don't just give up. Go in a different direction, try a different thing, keep trying a different thing. Like, most of the things sometimes that you think is going to work out are not the things that are going to work out, and it's because you make a slight pivot and another pivot, and that's been most of my life. Just the pivots have actually made it. I'll show you around this place a little bit here. So this is Vancouver, of course. Well, I'll walk you out to the front of this place. So this was like, in the time, right? Like, this was the place to be at the time. Now it's like, you know, now it's obviously not older now, right? But there's a ton of more places that have been built around here now that are like a lot newer and are kind of like now the places to go a little bit, that are newer. But that's still, you know, there's still nice places there. So you can, I remember this shop. I used to always come right here to this shop right here. I'll give you guys a view, especially everyone watching the replays and stuff like that. So there's so many new places being built in Vancouver. Like, all these places downtown used to not be here like 10 years ago, right? There's just so much condo building. Now we're running into, here in Vancouver, we're running into the fact now that there's too many condos. Now, it's the first time where prices are dropping. I've never seen prices drop in this city for like 20 years. But there's way more supply now than there is demand, and people just can't afford them. So you're watching things like condos here are not moving at all right now. Like, they're just stuck. People are dropping their prices and they're still not moving. There's just no buyers in the city right now. So if you look at like all that over there is all brand new stuff. So yeah, it's good for renters now, because to be honest, it was like really bad because people just couldn't afford to live in this in the city, and you had, you know, there was people living, students would come and they're living five people to like one bedroom, you know, like a studio here, right? Where in this one was like $2,400 a month for a studio, right? A studio. And so you see how obviously people have trouble making it when you got those kind of prices. I remember a doctor flying from Calgary to Vancouver, and he goes, it's bad when a doctor goes to Vancouver and I can't even afford to stay there, right, on a doctor's salary. So this is the front of the building of the story I just told you. Brings back a lot of memories here. You know, so the story of like, you know, there was my biggest up here, one of my biggest downs here. And even when I came back here and was living here in this place, when I had my femur bone break, I really learned a lot about humanity then, because when I was here, it was when I walked around on crutches and could barely move. It's amazing how many people didn't hold the door for me. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm on crutches. Like, people would literally be like, see me, and I'd be going on crutches, could barely move, and they wouldn't even hold the door. That's where I really like got a glimpse of, and that's where my compassion started to run real deep for people, because I started to really see like, wow, I can barely walk, I can't get around, and there's people out there that are just not compassionate to me. Then there was nice people, right? There was people that would see me walking with my bags and be like, oh, do you need some help, sir? And, oh, do you need the door held, and stuff like that? So don't get me wrong, there were some great people too that I ran into. But that was my real sense of where humanity was at, and having more, I always say, if you really want to create more empathy, when you experience what people are really going through, you can understand it a lot more. And, again, that was not near as somebody that's like super down and out or in a wheelchair or something, but it was my first experience of somewhat being disabled, of getting around, and how people were just not kind. Like, just common sense things, right? Like, when I look at somebody, even if they don't have crutches and can barely move, I hold the door or try and help them. So, unconscious people, you can say, not caring people. Sometimes I think people are like, they do have caringness in them and kindness in them, but I think sometimes they're just unconscious at times, right? They're just not aware. They're so caught up in their own life and their self, because I've seen it. People get around me a little more and follow my stuff and see like how I really try and be kind and compassionate and keep doing it. Then some people say, oh, I didn't even think about that. And that's what I find, like, me doing this, and as this grows and this stream grows, and like, you'll see me traveling all over the world doing compassion and kindness and pushing people for love and peace and stuff like that. But I do know when people see like you doing it and being a little more compassionate, they do get ideas and follow. It's happened to me all the time in my social circles, my business circles, because sometimes people just don't think about it. Right? Like, there's times when I have not done it. Like, there's times where I have like walked by somebody and knowing that they needed help, or like even a small gesture, then I walk by and then I get like a block away and I'm like, what the heck? Like, why didn't I just help that person quickly? That's being unconscious, just not being aware, thinking like, because I'm thinking, I got to get to my next meeting and I got to get to here and I'm in a rush, and not slowing down and really looking around. And I am a very kind and compassionate person and try to be, and that's what I'm trying to do online too, of why I'm growing this. Oh, you got to see these dogs. Oh, look at that. They look like brother and sister, don't they? Very much brother and sister. There's a lot of dogs around here. It's a very, it's a very community. Are you trying to get in here, bro? Are you trying to go in here? Yeah. It's around here. It's a very good social community. Meaning there's a lot of people around here that are very friendly, talk to each other a lot. Summertime, everyone's out doing stuff, right, all the time. They're running, they're jogging, they're walking, they're doing the CWO, they're like always kind of doing stuff. So it's a very active community around here and stuff, which when people are very active in this city, you meet a lot more people, right? That's the difference. That's one thing that why I've always liked to live. Like, I'm a downtown guy, I like cities, and why I like condos and cities is because I meet a lot more people. I'm a very social person. So I feel like nowadays, especially too, nowadays when you get in a house, you don't know your neighbors anymore because no one talks to each other. So that's a big thing. So we need to talk to each other more. And even if we're neighbors, go over and meet your neighbor. But that's what I find, like, at least in the city, I find there's more energy, more people are open to talk, more people are like, hey, how you doing, especially in summertime here. Summertime here, it's like easy to chat everybody up and just like make friends and stuff like that. All right, I'm going to jump, my friends. Thank you, everybody tuning in. I mean, we had a bunch of people tune in today. So this is Seymour Street, by the way, in Vancouver. So there you go. I'll take you guys on tours a bit more too in here, but I just wanted to bring you guys back and tell you the story of here, and hopefully it can inspire some of you, give some of you some hope to know, hey, I've went through a heck of a lot. I've made it out on the other side, and you too can make it out on the other side, whether you're battling cancer or whether you're trying to build a business, or whether you're trying to get to the next career, or whether you're trying to just lose some weight, or you're trying to get your mind stronger. You can do it, my friends. You can do it. Show up here daily with us. You come on the journey with me. You'll see what we're doing and how I'm building stuff and how I'm running my mind, and I'll inspire you, and I want to connect with you. Make sure, drop from where you're from. And again, thank you for everybody tuning in and viewing tonight. We're definitely getting way more people coming on now and watching, and anyone that watches the replay. All right, take care, my friends.